You and I were talking off the air before about whether you tried to do TV or radio or anything like that. And you said that you did talk to the SEC network, and then you
Yeah, I talked to a lady
funny
that
story.
works there. And then finally she said, now, are you going to be willing to go, say, we send you to North Dakota State versus Montana? You may have to do that game. I said, you know what? I better rethink this. But then
another Dooley Noted podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Celebration Point. Okay, and welcome into another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Coach Spurrier will be joining us in just a little bit. Robbie Andrew will be joining us for Yes, Nowhere, maybe on Thursday. Great show. We've got two former Gator greats as we preview the SEC tournament. Patrick Young is going to join us, and the great Matt Walsh. Can't wait to talk to Matty Ice about the tournament. So that is our schedule for this week. Let us go ahead and proceed. We got a lot to cover because there was a lot of stuff going on, a lot of winning going on this weekend. Baseball, not so much, but they got one. Anyway, let's get to our MoneyMedals.com starting five. MoneyMedals.com is your home for gold and silver purchases, one of the largest distributors in all the United States. Two Gator grads are running it, and you can reach them at 1-800-800-1865 or at MoneyMedals.com. Okay, so obviously the lead is the Kentucky game, another win for the Gators, 11th straight win. This team won, 16 out of 15 down the stretch or whatever it is. The numbers, I'm almost tired of writing numbers because it's almost hard to keep track of because they've been so good. But just an unbelievable 30 minutes of basketball. That was incredible. That was us flexing. That was you and I sitting at home going, you know, what do you got, Duke? What do you got? Hey, you beat us by one last time. Okay, we're good. You know, that kind of mentality. The last 10 minutes, not so good. They made me very anxious. And I actually wrote this in my Patreon column. I said, hey, I had to tell myself, stop writing angry. Because you're sitting there and you're mad. I'm doing the grades. I grade all the basketball, not all, but most of the basketball games, and I will be throughout the SEC tournament for Patreon.com/Dooley Noted. But I'm writing it and I'm like, you're being too hard on them. They won. They won by 7. They won by 7 to make it 8-1 on the road, which is hard to do. Especially in this conference, and I still think it's the best conference. You can argue that it's not, and that's fine. I heard Danny Cannell, who doesn't think the SEC deserves to even be in college sports, but his point wasn't a bad one. I think you could make an argument for the Big 12 because the SEC doesn't have a lot of teams, maybe only one, you think can win it all, and that's Florida. Florida's the only team anybody thinks could win it all. I don't think anybody believes in Alabama. I don't think anybody believes, certainly not in Kentucky. But anyway, let's get back to what I was talking about. 25-6, 16-2. If I had sat there when they were sitting there at 5, even at 5-2 or 5-4 in regular season or 5-2 in the SEC when they were at that point, either one of those points when they'd lost all those games and then they'd lost to Auburn at home, nobody saw this coming again. This is kind of like last year. Now, it's an earlier version of last year, I think. Last year, we knew that was going to be a really good team. We did not see a national title coming, but we knew it was going to be a really good basketball team. And we didn't think about whether they were going to make the tournament. The year before, we did have to think about it a little bit. Last year, we didn't have to think about it. Kind of confusing years here, but this year, going into the year, we're like, hey, get in the tournament, see what you do, it'll be great. I think that's the way everybody looked at it because of the loss of those 3 NBA players. You lose 3 NBA players, it's tough. Maybe it's not tough at Kentucky. Maybe it's not tough at Kansas, but it's tough at Florida. And what the job that I think that Todd has done to get them to this point, 16-2, SEC regular season champs, has been unbelievable. Threw a little shade at Kentucky fans. I guess there was some jawing back and forth, and Todd doesn't mind dropping F-bombs, you know that. But the thing that the Kentucky people were pouncing on was shade he threw in their minds at Denzel Aberdeen, because there was a small quote. And I always say quoted out of context is a load of crap. In this case, it was actually true. He said, look, we knew his tendencies. We knew what he was going to do. You know, we knew which way he was going to go, and we did a pretty good job of stopping it. He's still a great player, but he wasn't real efficient tonight. And he wasn't. I looked up his stats against Florida. So far this year, he's 12 for 33. And he's a good player, and I love Denzel Aberdeen. It's so hard for me to root against him. However, I have found a way to, because he plays for Kentucky. Anyway, he was 4 for 13 in this game. He did hit a couple of big shots there where you kind of got nervous. And yes, I got nervous, and I was cursing them for making me nervous, but the bottom line is they won again. It's an unbelievable team, and how well they've played. Thomas Houck with a big first half. You know, they struggle with Otega Owe, and he's a really good player. But I just think that's part of the problem for Kentucky is they didn't. Dick Vitale was doing the game, and he said, look, they have not built a great roster for $22 million. And I agree with him on that. They've got some good players, but like that kid, well, what's his name? The curly-headed guy that looks like Pete Davidson a little bit. You know, he's got black under his eyes almost, like he's been, I don't know. Anyway, Collins Coggins or whatever his name is. Obviously, he didn't make much of an impact on me. Played like 33 minutes in the game and had 2 points. That's not going to work. Anyway, great win. Let's just talk about the Gators. Great effing win for the Gators. You don't know how much I like to beat Kentucky. Somebody sent me a text that said, because apparently I said I needed to get a new Gator shirt for this next run. I'm going to buy that. I'm going to go to Alumni Hall and get that. Alumni Hall is where I go to do my shopping. And I'd love to get Alumni Hall on as a sponsor. I know them a little bit. I just haven't taken the time to talk to them, and I need to do that. But that's where I got my last shirt, and it worked. Anyway, Florida wins again, and that was great. Let's get to number 2 on our MoneyMetals.com starting 5, and that is that now Florida is a number 1 seed. Well, they're a number 1 seed now. It might not be tomorrow or it might not be the next day. But the bottom line is, I don't know. I hope they don't look, and I'm sure that Todd Golden won't let them, look at it as, hey, look, we achieved our goal. We became a 1. No, you're going to be the last one no matter what happens the rest of the way. If you don't lose in the first round to a Kentucky team that is in the tournament but a very low seed, and somebody else doesn't win. I think Illinois is more of a threat than UConn to take that, because if you look at some of the metrics, UConn's not good. But here's a stat that I got that is really good. Somebody tweeted this, and I can't remember who, or I would give them credit. Can't remember who. Anyway, Duke has outscored its conference opponents by 334 points this year. That's number 1 in the nation. There's only been 4 times in the last 20 years that somebody's outscored their opponents by more than 300 points. Duke has done it this year. Florida has done it this year. 306 points, a plus 306. And then Michigan has 2. So that's 3. There's only been 4 all time, and Florida was one of them. Not in the year when they went to the Final Four, but the year before that. That Bradley Beal team, I think, was on that team. That was a great team. Fun team to watch. They scored a lot of points. Anyway, they won the conference that year. It might have been Chandler Parsons' year. Anyway, so we'll see what happens with the seeding. But you can't get too caught up in being the one, but if you're the one, that's good for now. And if if you win, I would say if Florida wins one game, it'll be them. It'll be the one. And I've looked at who they would play, but you can't take it as gospel because nobody knows how they're actually going to put teams together. They can only go by who's getting in. The 1 through 68, they're very good at. Everybody's very good at. Usually everybody misses one or two. They may get them all right. But it's where they're going, unless, like, Duke's going to Greenville. We know that. Florida's going to Tampa. But who they're going to play, you have no idea. But if you look at the teams that would be seeded, because don't worry about who would be seeded 16. Worry about who would be seeded 8, 9. Worry about who would be seeded 7. I've looked at all those teams because I'm bored sometimes. And it's not a huge difference. It's going to be a tough game in the second round no matter what. So, look, they're not going to get Miami of Ohio in the first round, so they'll be all right. All right, anyway, let's go to number 3 on our MoneyMedals.com, starting 5, and that is the bracket. We finally have a bracket we can look at and say, oh, I'm curious how this goes. In fact, we're going to obviously throw a lot of games at you during for Leonardo's contest. And I do have a contest also on Patreon. If you're a member of Patreon, of patreon.com/Dooley Noted, I've got a contest. I've got 6 prizes, and I'll let everybody know what they are probably tomorrow. And you get to pick any 2 of them if you win the contest. So it's pretty good. Pretty good stuff, too. I would say everyone's got at least a 20, well, all but one of them has a $25 value. Anyway, the SEC bracket's out. We look at it. Florida will play probably either Kentucky or Missouri. I would assume Kentucky could beat LSU. By the way, Kentucky, I hope you enjoyed your season. Your worst record ever in the SEC, 10-8, 9th place finish. You have to play on Wednesday for the first time in the history of the tournament. I've enjoyed this season. That's all I'm going to say. Now, I know they're good enough to beat Florida if we get into a situation where they get to play Florida on Friday at 1 o'clock. They're good enough. They got good enough players. Florida's got a better team. They're better coached. Let's just see what happens. But I'm going to gloat a little bit because you know how I feel about Kentucky. So anyway, the bracket's all out. We got the Patreon contest. We're going to have a contest here. We'll see if it's Kentucky or Missouri. We'll see, first of all, whether LSU knocks off Kentucky. LSU's had some – I mean, they just played a triple overtime game with A&M. Which, and by the way, I just want to throw this out there. The people that are saying that Bucky McMillan is the coach of the year, come on, man. I mean, he's done a great job, and it wasn't like he inherited a team that was, a program that was destitute. Buzz Williams just bolted on him like he always does. There's no question who the coach of the year is in the SEC right now. There is no question who it is, and you know who it is. All right, so we'll see what happens with the SEC. Let's get to baseball number 4 on our MoneyMedals.com starting 5, and that is the Gators finally found a way to beat High Point. High Point was this close to having an unbelievable Sunday, or weekend, I guess you would say. The men won their tournament. The women won their tournament. I watched a little bit of that because it was on. And then they were this close to sweeping Florida. They beat Florida's butt in the first 2 games. They outpitched them. They outhit them. They did everything right. And Florida got lucky. That's all you can say when you have 3 consecutive walks with the bases loaded to win the game. They won. That's good. I'm happy for them. But they've obviously got some work to do. The pitching was been average. Liam Peterson was good, but Aiden King, I did not expect that. And they have had some really bad situational hitting too. All right, so that weekend's over. Now it's getting ready to get really interesting. FSU this week on Tuesday South Carolina coming in. All these games are in Gainesville. South Carolina coming in. It is going to get really interesting as far as baseball goes. And shout out to Brendan Lawson, who had 2 homers the other day. And he's got 8 now for the season. Florida now, they're 14-3. They're ranked number 23 on the D1 poll, which I don't know that they deserve to be ranked the way they played this weekend. A lot of errors, too, a lot of misplays. Softball, if you didn't watch that last night, it was great. 11-inning game, 3-3, 3-3. Jocelyn Erickson hits a homer in the bottom of the 7th to tie it. Nobody can get a run in. Florida finally wins it on a walk-off hit. The Gators are now up 2-0, and they play again tonight. So that'll be what I'm watching tonight is Florida softball, and really happy for them to have won that game 4-3 over Missouri. All right. Let us move along to our number 5 on our MoneyMetals.com starting 5, and that is Steve and Christine Wendig present the Olympic Gator of the weekend. It is brought to you by Steve and Christine Wendig at Boss Hart Realty, and we appreciate them. Our Olympic Gator of the weekend is Selena Harris Miranda, who, I don't know if you watched it last night. I watched every bit of it, and it was unbelievably good. Elite gymnastics. Florida, it's like peaking at the right time. Their score was 198.45, which is the highest score in the country. She got a 10, only the second 10 of the year for Florida. She got it on the beam. She was unbelievable. I said, well, that's a 10. I don't know if they'll give her a 10. But they were very generous with scoring last night. I think the judges kind of change, but who knows? What do I know about gymnastics judging? They've got Kentucky on the road next Friday, and then we go to SECs, and it all gets really serious here. 198.45 was the score. Selena Harris Miranda with a 10, second one of the year for the Gators. She is our Steve and Christine Wendig present the Olympic athlete of the weekend. Appreciate them and appreciate her. Take a break. We'll come back with Coach Spurrier right after we take this break on another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios.
Coach, it always impressed me how you beat Florida State to win the 1996 National Championship.
And I was really impressed with your 06, 08, and 09 Gator teams.
And the way you coached Danny to the Heisman Trophy.
A lot like what you did with Tim Tebow.
You won more SEC championships than you lost home games at the Swamp.
And you had plenty of super games in front of our Gator Nation.
Yeah, there really is something special about the Swamp.
I guess that's why we say about the Swamp, only the Gators get out alive.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, 100% agave, Los Landeros tequila, aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
I think you mean Head Beer Coach 1966 lager, a crisp, light, bodied lager for easy drinking.
Nope. Los Landeros tequila, smooth enough to drink neat and bold enough to elevate a cocktail.
1966 lager, enjoyed on game days in the fall or whenever you need a winning cold brew.
Los Landeros tequila.
1966 lager.
Los Landeros.
1966 lager.
Y'all stop bickering.
Okay, you're both wrong anyway. The best thing Spurrier's Gridiron Grill offers are Jerry's famous chocolate chip cookies.
Titan MRI, North Central Florida's premier independent diagnostic testing MRI facility. At Titan MRI, we're focused on you, the patient, having a great customer experience. Our MRI equipment is modern and 75% quieter than any unit in its class. And our MRI unit has one of the largest openings of any of the newer high-strength MRI units, which allows comfortable scanning for potential claustrophobic and larger patients. At Titan MRI, we look forward to serving you.
Adams Rib Company has been a staple of Gainesville for more than a decade and a staple of the Dooley house ever since Kelsey's teeth came in. The first time I walked into Adams, I told my daughter that the green beans are always a test of a great barbecue restaurant, and they were perfect. You know about the ribs that melt in your mouth, and my favorite, the turkey plate. But be sure to go in on Fridays for Nana's Fish Nuggets. They will melt in your mouth. Adams Ribco, a Gainesville great. Money Metals Exchange is a new sponsor for our Starting Five here on another Dooley Noted podcast, and we are so happy to have a group that is formed by two Florida grads, Mike and Stephen Gleason. They do a great job up there. If you're looking to buy or sell any gold or silver products, this is the place for you. And you can reach them at moneymetals.com. Also, phone number 1-800-800-1865. They are the place to go. They run the largest Class 3 precious metals depository west of New York. They've been voted the best online precious metals dealer in the United States by Investopedia. It's a bull market right now. Everybody needs to get in on the gold and silver markets, especially silver. So it's a great time to jump in. I looked at it yesterday. I was on the website for a while. And it was amazing how many different things they have. Coins and rounds and bars and just all kinds of special things. And I think you would have a great time just going in there and browsing. And look, the prices are right there. You know how much it is. Money Metals Exchange is the place to go. Again, Mike and Stephen Gleason do a great job. You can reach them at moneymetals.com or reach them at 1-800-800-1865. Okay, and welcome back to another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging and coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Meldon Law, of course, won't back down, and they're also a sponsor of Coach Spurrier's appearances on Meldon Mondays. We always like it when Coach Spurrier is in here, and there was a lot of winning going on this weekend in Gainesville, Florida.
Well, I tell you what, our ladies gymnastic team had the best score ever, I think, at the University of Florida, and the best score in the nation this year, certainly, as we won against LSU. So the gymnastic team is peaking right now at tournament time.
Right time,
that's what you're supposed to do. So really a wonderful show. The old dome was packed pretty much for it. So good crowd following our gymnastics.
There were a lot of people there. In fact, my niece and her daughter went. I got Mary Howard. Thank you, Mary. Got them tickets, and they were so happy. They had so much fun there.
Yeah, it looked like a men's basketball game.
I know.
Yeah, I was at the game. I guess we played Kentucky, last home game, and really played well. No, we were at Kentucky. Who was the last home game?
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State.
You were there with Danny.
Yeah,
that's right.
Danny Warford shoots free throws at halftime.
Yeah, he did.
And so forth. But, our guys are playing well, all of them, and they all play well, and they all play fast and hustle. We are a fun team to watch. And Coach Golder, Todd and I took a picture together after the game when we used to win an SEC. I'd tell the guys, all right, get that one finger up. We're number one right now. And we can remember that the rest of your life. So it was neat for our guys to clinch the SEC at home and finish number one.
Yeah, it's been an unbelievable run, this team, because when you think about it, when you lose three guys to the NBA, you're not supposed to go 16-2 in the best league in the country. That's not supposed to happen, but it says a lot about Todd as a coach. He knows what he's doing. He knows. Everybody said, well, he's an analytical guy, but he's getting through to guys. To me, that's the main thing. He is getting guys to understand his vision, and that's important.
And yet he lets them play.
Yes,
they play, and Lee, that little guard, is all over the place, and he can shoot that little one-hand layup as well as anybody in the nation. So they have fun playing. Good teams have fun playing and play the entire game, full speed all the way, and that's the way our guys do it.
Well, and I thought that was a good indicator when that kid, Josephsburg or whatever his name is, Cooper Josephsburg, hit that three-pointer against Mississippi State late in the game, and garbage time, and the bench celebrated like they just won the Final Four. They were excited. So.
Yeah,
and speaking of teams that won the final, celebrated like they won the Final Four, I go to the Texas women basketball team, which Dawn Staley, I was surprised. To lose that badly and get behind that.
Yeah, they did not have a very good game.
Texas is very good.
Texas is very good.
Yeah.
And that's the first time their coach has beat South Carolina. I didn't realize that. And I don't think Kim Mulkey's beat her South Carolina either. So anyway, Dawn Staley, she hates losing, but she'll regroup her team and be ready for the tournament. So
We got to get this women's team's going here. It almost feels like there's been little tiny steps forward, getting better players and everything. They've got to get older. They got to get better in the portal. They've got to, I don't know that Florida puts as much money into women's basketball as they do some other sports, but that's their choice. But the bottom line is, if we can get that, that's the only thing that's lacking right now. And that in football. We got to get football good again.
Well, we got a new football coach, and we've got a lot of good players that have good ones from last year that stayed here. That's always a good sign, I think, that players that could go almost anywhere, they stay at their home school because they really respect the coaches that are here now, and they want to be at the University of Florida. So I think we're heading in the right direction, and time will tell. But Coach Summerall, he's a gun-ho guy. There's another guy that hates losing, and they're going to be well coached, and the assistant coaches know what they're doing, and he allows them to coach completely. So I think we're going to have a really, really good not only season, but a good next 10 years. Let's put it that way.
Everything I hear out of practice is positive, and that's good. But, I mean, you never know. I mean, it's spring practice, so I'm not going to get too caught up in it. But, I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. That's the way you got to be. We also had a lot of golf this weekend, including the Lady Gators winning their tournament and blitzing the field. And then that tournament yesterday, Bay Hill, and I know you've played there multiple times, right?
A few times.
Yeah.
But,
I played there twice. That's all I got in. But it's a great course.
Oh, it's a great one. Yeah, I didn't play the tees they were playing.
They were playing across the street. They had to move them back.
Yeah, they hit it so far nowadays, but it was a good ending, and that Bethia, is that his name?
Bethia, yeah. Bethia, maybe Bethia, I don't know.
Yeah, but anyway, the way he puts, you got to hold of that, and then the shoulder.
Yeah,
that's got to be the best way to do it. Yeah. I started watching him, and he makes every 4 and 5 footer, because there's no hands in it. It's just line it up. He puts that stripe around his ball, and he lines that thing up, just gets behind it, and makes sure he hits it right straight that way. And that's got to be the best way to putt, I think.
Well,
I wish I'd known that 50 years ago.
Yeah, I know the worst way to putt is the way I putt because they don't go in. So,
yeah, me too. Yeah.
But it's I agree with you, and it was fun to watch. That's the thing, you don't give up on PGA tournaments. You just don't, I mean, that a guy can come back or a guy can hit it like Lowry did last week, hit it in the water twice, made the 2 double bogeys coming in. You never know.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it was good for TV. I'll say that. The television, people love it when it comes down the wire. 2 guys or 3 guys going at it. So that was a good made-for-TV tournament yesterday.
Absolutely. Certainly. And I did you get the chance to watch the softball last night too?
The softball.
I watched the whole game, 11 innings.
No, I did not.
Believe it or not. That was.
But I watched our gymnastics, ladies.
Yeah, that was impressive.
All-time record. Yeah, that was really impressive.
Yeah, gymnastics is a great sport. I did want to also ask you about. We talked about it last week, but the Florida Legends, which is coming up, and tickets are on sale for that at fllegends.com. If you want to get involved in that, and that involves seeing all 3 Heisman winners.
Yeah, that's what they're calling it.
Yeah.
Tim Tebow, Danny Warfel, and I are going to be taking pictures and signing autographs. It's March 18th, correct? March 18th, I believe, on that Monday. And
it's a Monday, yes.
Yeah, hopefully we'll sign a whole bunch, and the crowd will have a big time and have some mementos.
Raise some money, yeah.
I think we're all going to throw a pass to anybody who wants to catch a little short pass.
And then sign it, and then get a video, and then come back over here for a big party here, too.
Yeah,
so.
March 18th is when that is.
Yeah, we want to make sure we talk about that. Let us get to our Campus USA Play of the Weekend. It is brought to you by Campus USA, where I bank and where Coach Spurrier is a spokesperson, which is even bigger. Okay, so Kentucky thinks they still got a chance right here. And then they lose the ball, and then there's a great pass, and then there's a great pass, and then there's a great pass to Thomas Houck for the dunk, and that's where I went, oh, Florida's back to being what we've seen all year, which is this team that you make a mistake, they're going to attack. And maybe it'll come back to haunt them in the game, but I'm so impressed with the way as soon as their bigs get a rebound or get a turnover or the ball lands in their hands, they are looking to outlet. They're going outlet.
Yeah, we're definitely a well-conditioned team.
Yes.
That was one of Coach John Wooden's philosophies on coaching. Be the best conditioned team you can possibly be. And I don't know if I've ever seen our guys tired out there. Now, we do rotate a little bit, but still, nobody gets real tired when we play.
I'm guessing that Chinyelu may be the least conditioned guy because he's the guy who comes out the most. And I think it's because he plays harder than anybody else, too. You know, and I think the combination of those things. So he plays like 24, 25 minutes a game, and he came one short of a double-double in this game. He would have broken Bob Smythe's record. Bob Smythe, I saw play in college. I was like 10 years after you, so that was when he played, like in the 70s, in the Alligator Alley. Did you ever go to any basketball games over there?
Yeah, I remember when Pistol Pete Maravich played there one night.
I was there.
That had to be in early 70s, 70, 71, 72, something like that. And
what did he score, 50 or 51, something like that?
He got up there a bunch.
And Florida killed him.
And that was before we had the three-point play.
Yeah.
So his 40-footers were only counting 2. But, back in Alligator Alley, a lot of the football players, not me, but Alan Trammell, some of my buddies, they would sit in the bleachers pretty close to the opposing team's bench and sort of harass them a little bit, just yelling, so forth.
That's what I used to do. When I was a student, I would get that seat right at the bottom, right by the bench, and yell at the coach the whole time. I was just an immature.
Well, nowadays our students are on the other side from the opposing bench.
Things like Nepo Baby to Stephen Pearl. That didn't work out though. But and what was the other? G League dropout for Bediaco when he came to play here. In fact, he was at the game Saturday. There was Alabama-Auburn game, which I think they're still trying to get him eligible, which is unbelievable. Here was a good stat that I talked about in the first segment. Florida, and you, because you love winning SECs, and you love winning SECs by a lot. Florida has beaten its conference opponents by 306 total points this year.
Gee.
Now, the only school that's done better is Duke with 334. And Michigan also has 301. It's the first. There's only been 4 times in the last 20 years that's happened where a team dominated this league like that, and Florida certainly did. It was so much fun because games would be over and you could go, okay, I can relax.
What's amazing also, we won every conference road game.
Yes.
I don't know if that's ever happened before.
Well, all but one. They lost the first one to Missouri, and then they won everyone after. So they went 8-0 from that point on in road games. I
know we did that in football a few times.
Yeah.
But not many. I think, well, maybe 3 times we did or so. But anyway, our basketball team's ready, and I think we're pretty healthy. No serious injuries. So, tournament time's coming. And, the conference tournament, sort of interesting. Kim Mulkey said before the ladies' tournament that she really didn't like it that much because all you do is tire your team out before the big tournament the next week. But, the way Texas celebrated, beating South Carolina, that was their biggest win of the year.
Yeah.
So it's a tournament, it's a conference championship. But
they're keeping score, right?
But I'd still rather win the regular season.
Yeah. I agree with you on that.
Regular season. And then after that, you get.
I remember last year when Florida, the SEC tournament was getting ready to start, and I'm like, man, I almost hope they get knocked out. And then, of course, once the games, because
you can't help but try to win. Yeah.
But once the game starts, you're like rooting like crazy for them. They win the whole thing, and then they win the whole thing. But that's just the way it works sometimes. I mean, that's what college basketball is. It's a game of runs, and then how you can do.
That's
Have
right.
you did you ever go to an SEC basketball tournament? I was trying to think whether I'd seen you at one. I know you've seen them on TV because you texted me one time because I was on TV.
Oh, I'm not sure. Maybe in Atlanta. When
Yes,
they had the
I think you were there in
tournaments
Atlanta
up there
one
one
year,
time. Yeah. But not a whole bunch, really.
It's a lot of fun. How about the players this week? Are you going to head over there for that?
No.
That's too much walking, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's the same way I am.
You can see the tournament so much better on
Yeah.
TV, but people love being there. They love to see it happen. These guys, I mean, they can hit it so much farther now, and the equipment's better.
It's unbelievable.
It's amazing. So it'll be a good tournament. Tiger's not going to play, is he?
I don't think so.
No, I haven't heard anything.
I wonder with Rory, because Rory pulled out at Bay Hill, so he may not either. But how many times you played that course over in
TPC?
Jacksonville? Yeah.
Oh, I've played it several times.
Yeah.
Nowadays, we play scrambles there. Danny Warfel has his tournament right before the Georgia game. So anyway, I played it a bunch of times.
Yeah, I played there a lot when I was in the media because they'd let us play for free. But it was a lot of fun, and I love that tournament. And I don't know, there's all of a sudden there's been another movement towards this is the fifth major. How do you feel about that?
Well, you could call it that, but still you can't add one because they keep scoring majors against the guys that played 100 years ago or whatever. So I mean, you could call it a semi-major. I mean, but 4 majors is usually what golf history
Well, that's the problem.
says.
You can't go back then and say, well, then Tiger, those 2 you won. Of course, Jack won a couple. So now we got to refigure everything. So that's not going to happen. But it's a good tournament. I think it is the 5th best tournament.
It is the 5th best, correct.
No question about it. All right, Coach, we'll let you go. You got anything else? Or you ready to get out of here?
Oh, I think that's about it this week. Baseball came back 1-1 against High Point, but
They need walks.
that can happen. You can have some bad games, but hopefully,
it's baseball.
Hopefully, early our team struggle a little bit, and then tournament time comes around, we're full speed, ready to go.
Well, yeah, and of course, softball started the SEC, and now baseball's getting ready to start the SEC this week, and they got FSU. And then South Carolina at home. So all at home. So need to have a good week.
Yep, it's the Renegades. My son Scotty, special team coordinator out there in Arlington Renegades, right outside of Dallas. And they start their season this weekend, March 28th.
Oh, I got to write that down,
Yeah, so that league's going. And Ricky Neuheis was the head coach
he
out
is.
there.
Yeah.
So they're going to try to win that league.
Yeah. I hear Ricky on it. He's still doing the radio. I don't think he's spending a lot of time in the offices. But
yeah, he goes 3 hours on the radio, so they're not meeting from 9 to 12. But they practice just about every day now, getting ready for this weekend. Yeah.
You and I were talking off the air before about whether you tried to do TV or radio or anything like that. And you said that you did talk to the SEC network, and then you
yeah, I talked to a
This is a
lady
funny
that
story.
works there. And then finally she said, now, are you going to be willing to go, say, we send you to North Dakota State versus Montana? You may have to do that game. I said, you know what, I better rethink this. But Dan Mullen did all that.
He did.
And,
He did.
I remember I was out watching Tulsa play, where my son Steve was coaching at the time, and he was doing a game out there, I think like on a Friday night and so forth. But, yeah, you got to be willing to pay your dues and go all over the place. And I didn't think that was what I needed to do at that time.
Yeah, travel will get you down as it is. All right, Coach, thanks so much for being on a Meldon Monday. This is another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. We'll be back right after this with more Yes, No Way, or Maybe with Robbie Andrew.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, 2 things haven't: our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured,
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
and our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
All right, it may be a new year, but it doesn't mean you have to back off any of your goals as far as losing weight. I know I've been working even harder on it, and of course I get an assist from BMI TeleMed. They help us out with our New Year's resolutions, even if I've already broken 2 of them. Not the food ones, though. Weight loss is your goal. Get with BMI TeleMed. They use GLP-1 medications, and they are individualized, and that's the great thing. I've been through this, and Charlie, just talking to him, it was so great to make him understand, and he understood what I was doing. It's not about just losing weight. It is about keeping it off. You know that. We're all excited about the new year, and we're going to lose weight, but when you lose it in the first month, then you got to keep going. BMI TeleMed is sensible. It's straightforward. It's affordable. No contracts or hidden costs. BMI TeleMed is donating $1 for every pound you lose to the Florida Victorious Foundation. So go Gators. Join the listeners on this podcast who've already lost over 600 pounds. Are you kidding me? I'm 60 of them right there. All right, contact BMI TeleMed today at 727-383-1677.
For the first time ever in a public setting outside the Heisman Trophy ceremony in New York City, 3 legends are coming to Gainesville. Join Steve Spurrier, Daniel Werfel, and Tim Tebow together with their Heisman trophies for the Legends Gala at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill on Monday, March 30th. Enjoy an unforgettable night of Gator greatness while supporting the incredible mission of Isaiah 117 House. Tickets are limited. Get yours now at FLLegends.com. That's FLLegends.com. Don't miss your chance to be a part of Gator history.
Okay, well, always appreciate Robbie coming on for Yes, No, Where, Maybe. And, of course, Coach Spurrier for his segment as well. It is time for us to turn to Adams Rib Co. We know where to turn because we can smell it in the air. The scent of barbecue and all the great food that they have at Adams Rib Company. So it's time for our Adams Rib Co. Gator of the weekend. Well, there were a lot of choices. Let's just put it that way. There were like 15 people I could have named Gators of the weekend, including a lot of guys who play basketball. But I went with Ricky Castillo. Ricky Castillo won down in Puerto Rico. It was it's a PGA Tour event because when you have the other tournaments like Bay Hill or certain designated things, so you can play a second tour. But, I mean, it's the same tour. It counts the PGA Tour event is what I'm trying to say. That makes him the 100th Gator to win a PGA Tour event. Now, how about that? Florida needs to find a way to honor him. And you can't do it during basketball anymore. Maybe during baseball. Bring him out there and give him I don't know, what do you give a golfer? You can't give him a little golf ball. They got to do something. Ricky Castillo, the 100th Gator to win on the PGA Tour, and he won in Puerto Rico, and congratulations to Ricky, who's got a great career ahead of him. I was texting back and forth with JC about it. He's going to be unbelievable. Let us move along to our Leonardos of Millhopper quick picks, and we're going to give you 2 games today to do on the Leos of Millhopper quick picks. There is Leos in the thing for Patreon too, by the way. And if you get either one of these picks right and you aren't already subscribing to Patreon, or I haven't already sent you a gift, I'll send you a free month. So be excited about that. I am. We're up to like 200 people are on it. Hey, look, it doesn't sound like much, but I'm not that popular. Let's just face it. Anyway, let's get to our Leonardos at Millhopper quick pick. 2 games. FSU, no spreads. FSU at Florida in baseball, Tuesday night, okay? I don't know where I'd go. I don't know where I'd go because FSU's pretty good. Florida, jury's still out on them a little bit after this weekend especially. So that's Tuesday night. And then Wednesday night, you have the first games of the SEC tournament. I'm giving you the third game, Ole Miss, Texas, because I think that's if I was going to handicap these games, that's what I'll give you. LSU, Auburn. LSU, Kentucky. Kentucky's going to beat LSU. Auburn's going to beat Mississippi State. Ooh, maybe that one might actually be a good one. Now I'm giving you Ole Miss, Texas. All right, so here's the bottom line. Ole Miss, Texas basketball SEC tournament. FSU at Florida baseball. Send your picks to patrickdooley54@gmail.com. And if you get one of them right, I will send you a thing you can redeem for a month of another Dooley Noted podcast. And, of course, patreon.com/Dooley Noted. All the great stuff I'm writing there. I'm writing a lot, and I'm having so much fun writing. It's something I really needed, and I'm really enjoying it. Anyway, all right, let's move along. All right, let's get to our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. Hesser and Kipke, with over 50 years of combined legal experience in North and Central Florida, Hesser and Kipke is your place for bankruptcy, workers' compensation, and family law. Call or text Ken and Jennifer at 352-339-9920, Hesser and Kipke. All right, number 1 on our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. That is, we've talked about this for the last week or so, how, boy, I guess college football and college basketball don't have the same calendar because college football coaches get fired in the middle of the season. And Jerome Tang did, but for the most part, everybody just piling on right now. 4 more coaches were fired Sunday, including Georgia Tech. Damon Stoudemire got fired. And there are a bunch of coaches that are going to get fired. There's going to be somebody said that there were 40 coaches that got fired last year. But again, don't forget, we have 350, whatever it is, teams that are considered Division I in basketball. You have 134, whatever it is in football. So it's a different animal. But they are getting fired. There's not been one that you just went, whoa, I can't believe it. Like we did that. It felt like every week in college football. See, oh, I can't believe that. Basketball, no, you're like, yeah, they suck. There are a lot of teams that suck out there. But anyway, we'll see how that all works out. Let's go to number 2. And again, that's going to open up a lot of jobs. My biggest fear, but I would want it for him, is that Carlin Hartman gets one of those jobs, which he should. But I'm sure he's going to wait for the perfect fit. I don't want to lose him, though, man. The guy is such a big part of what's going on with this incredible success story that is Florida basketball. Let's get to number 2 on our Hesser and Kipke 3 things, which is Ashte Bethia winning at, I almost said Doral. No, of course they don't have a tournament there anymore. Winning at Bay Hill, and it was kind of almost like last year where one guy's winning the whole time and you kind of get bored with it, but I stuck with it. I kept hanging in there because I wanted to watch softball too, and I wanted to have multiple things going, so I stayed with it. And again, Daniel Berger, the former Bulldog, did not get it done down the stretch, lost in a playoff. And Ashti Bhatia, I think. But I probably say it wrong. With the win in a playoff, so he won $4 million. Now, I don't think he gets to keep it all, but he gives 100 to his caddy. No. All right. Number 3 on our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. Boy, is there going to be a player more watched in the NCAA tournament and maybe even more so in the conference tournaments than Jeremy Fears. Now, if you don't know much about Jeremy Fears, you probably don't pay attention to a lot of basketball. You watch the Gators, and that's fine. In the SEC, I'm the same way. He's had 2 technicals this year, and both of them were where he reached out and grabbed a guy kind of in the area where you don't want to be grabbed. And he got a technical for this one against Texas Tech, and it's just become a big story. And I'm curious to see, because I don't know much about – I know he's a big-time recruit, big-time star and everything, but I don't know that much about what's going on there. I'll read more about it, but that's the one where you kind of go, okay, I want to see a road to the Final Four. I want to see that little segment in that. Why Jeremy Fears has got a problem. Why he is the Grayson Allen of current basketball. Anyway. All right, that is our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. And by the way, I know Ken Hesser is excited about Matt Walsh being on because he's got a long history with that part of the country up there in Pennsylvania. All right, let's get to our BMI TeleMed Overachiever of the weekend, brought to you by BMI TeleMed, your weight loss specialist. Achieve and maintain with BMI TeleMed, 727-383-1677. The number to call. Tell them Pat Dooley sent you. Get a discount. Our overachiever of the weekend is Trent McDuffie. Trent McDuffie, who has 3 career interceptions. Okay? Zach, does that seem like a lot to you?
Not necessarily.
No, it's not a lot, but he's considered one of the best in the business. He did make a Pro Bowl. Anyway, he got a deal with the Rams, 4 years, $124 million, the highest paid cornerback. Okay? They say nobody catches the ball on him. He's not a pick guy. He's a deny guy, which everybody loves. He was on the Chiefs. I watched him play. He was pretty good. But $124 million? Okay. All right. He's an overachiever then. Let us move along because I want to get away from that. Let's move along to our Los Landeros Smooth Move of the weekend. It is brought to you by Los Landeros Tequila, my favorite tequila, Urban Meyer's favorite tequila, and, of course, go beyond with Los Landeros Tequila. My smooth move of the weekend was John Pelfrey. John Pelfrey got fired this week, and I felt bad for him because I love John Pelfrey. He's a good dude. He and Billy Donovan are like best friends. I like him very much. But, boy, he didn't take long to sit down there in Rupp Arena and watch the Gator game, and his wife, I assume it was his wife, I'm pretty sure it was his wife, was wearing Kentucky garb, so that's pretty smooth. Right away, you moved right into one thing. Maybe I can get an assistant's job right here. Hey, look, I'm here for you guys. I've been a head coach at multiple places. Look, I love John Pelfrey. He's one of my favorite people in the world. But that was a smooth move sliding right in there. And it looked like he had good seats, too. All right, that's our BMI TeleMed smooth move of the weekend. Let's go to our Gallo Car Wash sponge of the weekend. It is the Florida women's golf team. And I'm sure they're going to Gallo Car Wash to get their car washed tonight because they certainly played up to what you hope they would do in the Gator Invitational. Now, you should play good on your home course, but it's sometimes it can be tough. And they blitzed the field. They won by 18 shots. Paula Francisco won the individual title, was dominant. Really good weekend for the Lady Gators. So I'm really proud of them, and they are our Gallo Car Wash sponge of the weekend. We will go to our Mark Gaida presents the 12. Mark Gaida, Pepin Realty, presents the 12 every Monday. And the 12 this week is going to be our rankings on the net. We're going back to the net. We haven't done that in a while, but we're going to go back to the net and tell you where it is right now because the net is important. But look, there are a lot of metrics these guys use. And a lot of metrics they're told to use, and this is one of them. So let's see where it is right now. Number 1 would be the Duke Blue Devils, not a surprise. Michigan 2, Arizona 3. That's not going to change. Those 3 teams are going to be the top 3 seeds. Florida at 4 right now on the net. Illinois at 5. That's one reason I said Illinois may be a bigger threat than UConn, and you'll see why again. 6, Gonzaga. I can't see Gonzaga jumping Florida no matter what happens. 7, Houston, they could. 8, Iowa State, that's another threat. 9, UConn. So, yeah, if you're 9, that Marquette loss was really hurt them. 10, Purdue. 11, and again, you know what's going to happen. They're going to put UConn at 2 and put them right in Florida's bracket. 10, Purdue. 11, Michigan State, a little Big Ten run here, and 12, Nebraska. So that's that is what the net has right now, and you can look at a bunch of other metrics that do matter, and they're kind of similar, but most of them have Florida 4, some of them have Florida 5, and whatever, we'll see. So let's move along to our Matt Lerner of Leonardo Law, our club team of the weekend. We talked about him last weekend. Okay, our Leonardo Law club team of the week, as we had earlier, is our sailing team here at the University of Florida, which is, they're getting ready to start their season. So you can go out there at Lake Wahlberg and watch them. I'm sure it'll be a nice, relaxing afternoon. And they will, you can see online, go online, and you can find out where they are. Just type in UF Sailing Team, and you'll find out their schedule and find out when they're going to be out there sailing. That is our Leonardo Law club team of the weekend. It is time for us to wrap it up, as we always do, with our swamp games of the weekend. There are 2 swamps. One is a stadium, one is a restaurant. Nothing else is a swamp here in Gainesville, unless you want to, find a place out there and say that's a swamp. All right. Our swamp games of the week, and there are a lot to watch. I could see myself sitting outside and hunkering down for 4 hours of basketball or something like that. Here we'll give it to you, the basketball schedule. Wednesday, 12:30, LSU, Kentucky, Mississippi State, Auburn to follow, Ole Miss, Texas to follow that. Probably be around 7, South Carolina, Oklahoma to follow that. They're all on the SEC network. And then, of course, Thursday, you have probably better games and be a lot of really interesting games. In fact, I think Tennessee and Vandy could play. But the bottom line is, then you move along to when Florida plays on Friday, and we'll talk about that more later. Tuesday, Florida State baseball comes to town. It played the Gators at Condren. It's on the SEC Plus. You have to look at the Plus to be able to get it. It's not that hard. Believe me, I watched all the games this weekend. Some of them I turned off, however. Softball tonight is on the SEC network against Missouri. To wrap up a 3-game series, Florida has had 2 unbelievable wins. Certainly the first game was really tense, and then the second game went 11 innings. Great game, and a lot of fun to watch. And then don't forget, the Players starts Thursday. They'll be doing Golf Channel stuff inside the Players. It'll be on from 1 to 7 on the Golf Channel on Thursday, the first round, and we'll let you know more about what's going to be happening there. All right, Zach, again, great job saving us our show from disaster, because you're the man. We'll be back with another show Thursday. I cannot wait for this show Thursday. We'll talk SEC tournament with 2 guys who have won it. Patrick Young, Matt Walsh, both are champions in many ways. That'll be a fun Thursday show. We'll be back with that. Until then, I am Pat Dooley. I am deep, I am way back, and I am out of here.